Hey, what's up? I'm Pascal from Orangepixel and welcome to another video. A few months ago I started talking about HTML5 web games on this channel, full of enthusiasm, full of energy, and that all got struck down in the last couple of weeks. But that does make for an interesting video topic, I guess. So let's talk about HTML5 web games and where I'm at now, a few months later, after all the enthusiasm got destroyed. So in the last couple of months we had leaving Steam for Pokey, we had the Holy Grail HTML5 game, Save My Business, ? Very dramatic, building a game engine in HTML5 in 1 week. I mean 1 week to build an HTML5 game engine. This video over here, this one. Pretty cool video. Engine is up and running for the game dev challenge I did on that engine just to test out if my games could actually run on it. And that brings us to today. So originally my idea was to create games, my older existing games, recreate them in HTML5, release them preferably on a site like either Pokey or Crazy Games, mentioned that a couple of times in my videos, and see what they do, and based on that decide if I could create specific games for that market or not. Now I still think that's a pretty good solid business plan, except both Pokey and Crazy Games did not agree. First, let's just give myself a little blame here. I decided to start with Gunslugs, and originally this game is now well over a decade old, but it has been released on almost any type of hardware you can imagine over the last decade. And it's actually still selling copies here and there when it's on discount on Android, iOS and Switch. Not so much on Steam, but it's a very old game. It happens. And that's maybe a little mistake on my end. I started with this older game, but it's still a perfectly good game, except the gameplay, even though it's procedural, it's a little bit roguelike. It's not modern. Now, of course, it still plays perfectly well. Everything is in there, multiple levels, characters to unlock, secret areas, procedural generation, you name it, it's in the game. It's still a fun game, and if I'm testing the game, I get lost in it. Now, Pokey has a test thingy. I don't know what they call it, but it's a test thingy. You submit your game, it gets played by, I think, 1,000 of their audience members, players, community people. Based on how long these people play your game, if they make it actually to the first gameplay start event, based on those type of metrics, Pokey decides if your game is a good fit or good quality to release. Now they handled this very nicely. I got an email from somebody telling me it's not doing well in the metrics. You might want to change this and that and have people immediately start in the game. So no splash screen, no menu screen, just dump them in the game. So I made some changes here and there, but that evolved into a little communication back and forth with somebody in the whole chain of Pokey. Now, long story short, I got their standard agreement for Gunslugs, and that's really where it ended for me. My whole quest for getting my games out there on Pokey ended just because of this standard agreement that was non-negotiable, so they say. I still think that, I mean, I've done enough business. I've done so many different companies and much bigger companies. I know there's always differences for certain companies. But I get it that my game, Gunslugs, and my other games aren't up there or not doing millions. So I got the standard agreement like almost everybody that's watching this video would get. The problem is 3-year exclusivity. That means I can only release my game, which is partly a promotional tool for me to promote my own company and my games on other platforms. I can only release it on Pokey and on nothing else. That doesn't work for my games. It might work for other people. It doesn't work for me. 50% revenue share for everybody that Pokey brings in, which is going to be the biggest part of people playing your game. Because why would I get a lot of people towards Pokey to play Gunslugs if I could get them onto any other platform or even my own website? If I had that many people that could play my game, they would be playing my game and I wouldn't need Pokey. So you're actually using a platform like that for their audience. Most developers get 50% revenue share, 3-year exclusivity, and you have to go through this stage with every game you release. So First of all, you're testing your game against their audience. I'm trying to make this a lot shorter. As a developer, you're just working for Pokey, but not for income or a paycheck, but for 50% revenue share while you take all the risk. And you're creating games built specifically for their audience because their whole metric system is being used by their audience. And that's why all these games will have a certain feel to it, because that's what their audience likes and is used to. And I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. If you're a hobbyist doing some fun games, HTML5 games, certainly go with them. They're the biggest portal out there. You can't go wrong. It's not a lot better on all the other sites, I can tell you that already. However, if you're trying to run a business, you can't be sure that every game gets released on there. So that's like a difficult one. That's not how it's done on any other platform. I can release 100,000 games on Steam. I can release just as many on Nintendo Switch. Once you're a game developer, once you're allowed by Nintendo to have access to Develop Kit, you can do and create anything you want and release it, as long as it's technically not faulting the user or the hardware. So there are a little tests they do, but they don't really tell you what kind of content you should be making and what their audience wants, because honestly, nobody knows what the audience wants until the audience gets it. And if they don't get it, they don't get anything else besides always the same stuff. That's really all they think they want. So no Pokey, let's move on to Crazy Games. Because it can get a little worse. Submitted it to Crazy Games just last week. Now Crazy Games just took 2 days to tell me a very generic email that Gunslugs wasn't meeting their criteria. I don't think they mentioned that Gunslugs just wasn't a fit for them, but because they have so many games, they couldn't really give me any specifics on why it wasn't allowed. So I'm very much in the dark on why Gunslugs didn't meet Crazy Games criteria, whatever those criteria are. I just don't know. I did mail them just now before I started recording, but obviously let me check. I don't think I have an answer yet. That would be extremely fast. No, I don't have any access yet. No, I don't have any email. So I don't know. Didn't get Gunslugs on Crazy Games. I think it's a perfect fit. Crazy Games audience is slightly older, is more into the games we all know from Steam, itch.io, Switch, mobile, all those things. There is a wider audience there, but they're not gonna get my games, I guess, unless Crazy Games replies to my email. It could be that they saw an Orangepixel game, but I didn't do it using my Orangepixel email address, so maybe they didn't put the link together and thought it was a copyright breach. But I could mention like 100 things it could be, but I don't know because I just got a generic email from them that really doesn't say anything. So where does that leave me with my whole plan of getting HTML5 games out in the world? Good question. So my quest didn't end there. I also talked to people from Discord that are working on the whole Discord activities thing, because that's a thing. But there's also the problem, it's a thing. It's not clear yet. I don't think they even know yet what it's actually about. Except you can run HTML5 games as an activity in Discord. They have an in-app payment-like system, but that's about it. It's really, look, we got a lot of users here. Do your thing, we allow it. You sort out what you do and how you do it. I'm sure there's more to it. I'm sure there's more technical stuff there, but just to simplify it for these videos, I'm just not sure what I can do there in terms of making revenue, because that's maybe something some people miss, but I try to make money for my games. It's not a hobby. It's not something I just do for fun. I do it for fun, but preferably at the end of that fun, there's some money. And that's still, after so many years, a problem in HTML5. It's a great technology. It can be everywhere. It can be what Java always wanted to be since like the 80s. HTML5 has that opportunity, but how you actually make money from it, nobody seems to know. Neither do I. Also talked to friendly people, Ray Browser. I need to check this. I think it's called Ray Browser. Where is my normal browser? That's over here. Ray Browser, is that? Yeah. Playonray.com, little shout out to them. they're doing something interesting, I think. A browser that plays games in a side panel window, so you can have like the game here and then still your YouTube channel or Discord there. And also a very interesting thing, but I'm not sure if that makes sense to me. It's why would somebody use that browser over Chrome or Edge, whatever called by Microsoft these days, or Firefox thingies, or any other browser? Why would they? I don't know. It's interesting, but again, I'm not sure where the money comes from, and neither do they so far. And I hope they figure it out. I hope everybody figures it out. But right now, it just feels that those that are making money are portals like Pokey, Crazy Games, Game Distribution, and a bunch of others. But they're mostly, all the risk falls on the developers, and developers are getting terrible conditions. Honestly, I don't understand why so many developers signed for a 3-year exclusivity deal for 50% revenue, no upfront funding or anything, all risks on the game developer to just give 50% of your revenue to a company that hosts your game file, which you could host yourself or host on any other website. The web is extremely big. There are so many websites, and these HTML5 games can be placed everywhere. But making the money on them is just, it seems to be extremely difficult. Now you might say, why don't you just add your own ads or rewarded ads and add those to the game and upload it somewhere and make money from those ads? Good question. Let's move to a different camera point and I'll explain why that's not an option either. So, wait, where? Okay, there you are. Advertising would be an option. I thought about that. I looked into it. There are a couple of service providers, I guess I'm going to call them that have an SDK or API to integrate rewarded ads and normal ad views, videos, thingies into your game. However, one of them I signed up there. You need to sign up. You don't have access to it just like that. You need to sign up. So I signed up. Never heard back from them. They are one of the bigger ones. So I guess that's a no-go. Tried another one, but their SDK is like, I don't know. Now, I'm not going to call myself brilliant, but I do like to think that I know how to get things up and running. And I couldn't get their SDK up and running at all. So that one's out the door. The biggest one is obviously Google. They have AdSense. They have some of that stuff, but it's not ready for rewarded videos. They have one that's called H5 SDK, I think. But for that, you also need to sign up because it's in beta, because Google either releases stuff and then kills it a month later, or it will be continuously in development and in some sort of beta alpha state. So signed up for that one. They ask, how many players do you have? I told them I have 0 players because I'm trying to figure out how to get started on these things. Haven't heard back from them yet. So just integrating advertisement in HTML5 games is difficult. It's extremely difficult, and I didn't think it would be that difficult, but apparently it is. That means I have 2 options left in my tiny brain for HTML5, and I'm not sure if they are gonna work, but I am gonna effing try. I'll keep it nice, effing try. So let's talk a little bit about the 2 options that I have left in my bag of HTML5 revenue making tricks. And I have no idea if they're gonna work or not, but we are gonna go into them, and I am gonna try them because I'm stubborn a little bit. Okay, so the first thing that's left, and I already mentioned that for me, the importance of these games is that they can maybe serve as some sort of promotion for the full games. So this year I released Gauntlet of Power on Steam. It's coming to Switch next year. Serious Lion right now, as I'm recording this, is working on bug fixing that version, so it's ready to release. But what if I created the demo version, also available on Steam, but I create it and release it into the wild? Doesn't matter where it ends up, just everywhere, every website that I can find and that has games that run as HTML5, and that could even be itch.io, maybe Newgrounds, sites like that. I don't know if they will still run these things. I'm just gonna upload it everywhere and have a link in there pointing to the Steam version. And in that way, it kind of serves as promotion material, and I don't have to make money from that game specifically or that version, because hopefully it will lead to awareness of the bigger version on Steam and Nintendo Switch. That's one option. For Gaunt of Power, that's very easy. And I have it up and running almost. I've been working on that, well, not secretly, Discord knows about it, but I've been working on it, and it's up and running. Just have to fix bugs here and there. And then that game is also ready to release or do something with it. I just don't know if it works as a promotional thing. But if we don't try these things, we don't know. However, there's one more option that I have, and this is like probably a very insane idea, but I'm doing it anyway because, like I just mentioned, I'm kind of stubborn. I've been working on something. Let me just show you, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Come. This is the thing I've been working on. This is on the Orangepixel website, and I call it the Play Orangepixel portal or playground or whatever. I don't know. It doesn't have a real name yet. But these games, let me start with Gunslugs, are now fully playable on the website. Orangepixel website integrated into the whole website. So we have all the information available, all the stores. We can link it to a Steam page, and we can just play this game on the Orangepixel website. And so this is the thing that I've been working on, a little Orangepixel portal, my own portal. If everybody runs a portal, why not I? Is that a good sentence? I don't know. And I dug up a very old version of Chrono and Cash, and this game is now also available. I have some ads here and there, but I don't like that, so I'm probably going to remove all the ads. But we have a game up and running. We have just so much stuff going on. This game isn't available anywhere anymore, I think. It's too old to have it on Steam. It's too old to have it on Android and iOS these days. So it's not too old to have it on my website. So, alright, now I'm just distracted by my own game. This is still a very fun game. This is the type of game that might actually do very well on Poké. I don't know. But I don't think they're going to get it anyway, because I don't like their business model. So this is going to be mine, not theirs. I just don't know how to make money off it just yet. I should stop playing the game, close the game to distract it. Final thing I'm going to show you, this is what I've been working on recently. This is Gaunt of Power. As it's available, yeah, there's still stuff going wrong. But this is how it's also available on Steam. This is a full version. You can get it on Steam. It's now working on this as maybe releasing it like a, I don't know, a demo version or something. Let's skip the animation. It's not perfect yet, but everything that's in the original game is also in this game, including lights, sound effects, everything, weapon systems. How cool is it that we can have this up and running once it's bug free, that is. Let me quit game, close it. Portal. Yeah, I know, I'm just showing you the whole browser link and everything, but you can only get on this if you're logged into the website. Right now, not a lot of people have access, so it's still in beta. Let me just show you what happens if you're going to do this without logging in. Then you end up on this page. Play Portal, still in beta mode. Get on the Discord and talk about it. Okay, so now you're saying, how am I gonna make money off this? That's your question. I don't know yet, but my idea here is that I could maybe ask a subscription fee, $3.99, $4.99 a month to play all these games for free. I'll have some free demos up there that everybody can play, so that way I can get people to look at this portal. I might do deals now and then and have certain games completely free for the next couple of weeks. and then it will be locked again. There are a lot of ways I could try this and play with this. That's a lot of business type things. I'm not the best at those things, but I'll just write down ideas and see where it goes. I'll have to have a lot more games on there. Right now we have 5 games on there, but that includes 2 pretty new games. Gauntlet of Power, just released this year, already now available on the portal. That could be interesting. I could lock all that behind some sort of system like Patreon, or maybe actually use Patreon and have people subscribe in that way to the portal, meaning they can play these games everywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean actually everywhere. So Gunslugs also runs on your mobile. These games will run on, I haven't tried the TV yet. Now I'm distracted by my own game again. I haven't tried it on a web OS, I think it's called. LG has it, yeah. I think it's called WebOS. I haven't tried it on TVs, but in theory, it should run everywhere. And this opens up a world of possibilities. Maybe. I still don't know, but I'm gonna try it. So what that means for now is that I'm gonna build out more games. I have a bunch of older games: Stardash, Inc., Meganoid 2, Meganoid, Reboot, a bunch of other games that I will get running on this portal in the next year. Hopefully in 2025. I'll probably link this to videos. The challenge to get a game up and running in like 5 or 6 days from start to finish and show you how it goes. Could be interesting videos. Then it also means these videos tie into the whole portal. And that's not all. I might actually start making games specifically for the portal. I can experiment with these games. Once this portal is up and running, I can dump any type of game on there. You can't do that on Steam anymore. You can't experiment there, because to get a game on Steam you have to pay $100 just to get an app idea. Then you can build out that game, upload the game, and you only get to release it once. After that, if it failed, if nobody likes it, the game is dead on arrival. You can't experiment there. You can experiment on itch.io, but there are so many games being pushed on there that even even if experimenting there is just difficult. You still have to bring your own audience. So why would I bring my audience? If I have to bring it myself, why would I have to bring them over to another portal or store? Why not bring them to my own portal and maybe have them subscribe to the portal and fund my weird brain farts and game experiments and my whole Orangepixel history of games, which eventually will be all playable and maintained on my own website. Now, honestly, I think that's a game developer's dream, just having everything managed and maintained by yourself. There once was a time where that actually was a thing, but that time is long gone now, and maybe we can bring it back. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid for trying these things. I think we're gonna find out over time. If I create a nice video where I create a very silly, simple game that's a lot of fun to play, upload it to the portal, and you can only play it there. I don't know what that does. I have no idea. But it's a lot of fun thinking about the possibilities this has. Because I can also tie this in with my own leaderboard, achievements, a whole system. Of course, that's gonna take a lot of time and work to have it all up and running. But I can do that in my spare time. I can do that on Sunday afternoon, just tinkering with things and see where it ends up. It still excites me a lot. And I don't need 1 million subscribers. I could do with 1,000 subscribers all paying $3 or $4.99 a month. That would make it very much worth it to have this portal and have it as my main focus. Release a new game every month. Fun, interesting, tiny games, and then maybe work on a bigger project on the side and eventually have that project or game released from day one on the portal for all these subscribers to immediately play it. It sounds amazing, and I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be as amazing as I have it in my head right now, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna try. So that's really where I'm at now with HTML5 games. So yeah, had huge plans and enthusiasm for HTML5 web games. But that got struck down by all the gatekeeping being done, which is a shame. Honestly, it always, a lot of times feels like game developers are always at the bottom, feeding other companies and portals. In this case, portals, sometimes stores, sometimes management and whatever. It's frustrating at times. But as you just heard, I have plans with HTML5 games, a web version of my games, have them up and running in a browser, anywhere. It's close to cloud gaming, what so many companies are still trying to lift off the ground. Of course, it's very comparable to subscription models from Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, you name it. And I'm very much against those models because they're not from the game developers themselves. As a game developer, you either get upfront money if you're lucky and a nice deal, but most game developers have their games in there and get paid for the amount of time that a player has spent on your game compared to what they spend on all the other games during that certain time frame. It's a terrible system for game developers. But if a game developer could run their own subscription models for their own games and has a lot of games to offer, I don't know, it could work. I think it's a very good way to use Patreon. I once had Patreon, but then didn't do enough with it. So I felt guilty that people were members of my Patreon and I couldn't give them enough back. But in this way, I can actually give them a lot of things back. They have a lot of game. They have my whole game catalog to play with. And I might actually do special videos and special articles and build out my whole website. So I know I'm crazy with these games and I'm still poking at HTML5 games. Those were very bad puns. But I'm not giving up on web games completely just yet. It's just gonna be a bit on the back burner. Steam, Switch, mobile, those are still gonna be my main goals right now, unless this would magically suddenly be just a big thing, but I don't think that's happening. So still going on with these things. Hop on the Discord if you want to talk about all of these plans. Let me know if you have ideas and thoughts and whatever. And I just want to thank you for watching the video up to this point. I know it's been a little bit rambling here and there, but I had fun. So hopefully you also had fun. That brings me to next week, last video of the year. Not a extremely fun video. I already recorded that one because I didn't want to record it, but I had to record it. So anyway, check out next week's video, last video of the year, and then we'll start fresh in 2025. Bye!